Today I want to show you how to make a baked oats recipe, and no ordinary one. Let's go make actually a chocolate baked oats recipe. But I hear you wondering, is this gonna damage my waistline? I'm on a healthy regime, Emily. Am I gonna be putting on weight by eating this for my breakfast? Well, actually, it's healthier. But there is no doubt that it does actually make you feel as if you're eating something a little bit more decadent and naughty for breakfast. So first thing is first, make sure you have preheated your oven to 160 degrees centigrade fan. Mine's a fan oven, so I've got it there already going and preheated up. So make sure you do that first. The next thing, you need to make sure you've got a dish to put it in. Now this is a recipe for one. If you want to, just double up or triple up the ingredients if you're making them for your family. You could use a ramekin dish like this and butter it out, or you could even use a baking case and pop it in. Sometimes I find the easiest way is actually using a muffin tin, like I've got here, and just lining it with baking cases. But either way, it can be a sticky little beast, so make sure that you've got something properly greased and lined right from the start. This recipe needs to be super smooth and blended, hence why I'm going to be using my hand blender today, which has got a really useful little attachment here, but you could use a food processor. By blending it, it makes that cake-like consistency, and that's what we're looking for. So in my little blender pot there, I'm going to add in 45 grams of porridge oats. And then once you've added the oats, you want to add an egg. So just stick that in like so. And then you want to get half a teaspoon, so let me find my correct measuring spoon there, of baking powder. Just a quick tip, folks, make sure that your baking powder is in date. I don't know how many people say that a cake or something hasn't turned out, and that's usually because that it's out of date. Then we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of delicious maple syrup. You could use honey if you so wanted. And then 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. Now, if you wanted your muffins to be plain, you just omit the cocoa powder. And finally, a banana here. Really gives it sweetness and texture. Of course, you've got the oats there, which are great for reducing cholesterol. And of course, you've got all that potassium in the banana. Now to the good bit, to get whizzing, and you want to blend this until it is properly smooth. Now this takes about a minute or two, but what you can do is just make sure that you've got everything combined, just by taking a spatula around the edge, just to make sure that there are no other like clumps of anything hung around the edge. So I've got this fairly smooth now, and I've got my tin lined with baking cases ready, and all I'm going to do is pop this into the baking cases. Now, I say this is for one, but actually out of this recipe I can make sort of 3 reasonable sized muffins. So I'm just going to divide the mixture like so. So you've popped them in your vessel. How long does it take to cook them? Well, that's the interesting thing, because if I make one in a ramekin, it can take around about 20 minutes. Sometimes this is quicker. So you're going to have to keep an eye on it. So don't go off into the shower wandering about, just keep your eye on these, because you just want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through, and then that's when you know when to finish cooking. Just a massive thank you to all my subscribers and those who've liked my videos. And if you want to subscribe to me, it's so easy. Just hit the bell button, and that way you'll get notified when I produce a new recipe. Also, isn't it annoying when you find something that you really like and you want to try yourself and you can't remember where you found it? Well, by subscribing, you'll be able to find everything, all my recipes on the playlists, a lot easier. What I've done now is taken them out the oven, and you need to let them cool for around about 10 minutes. Otherwise, you will have a scalded mouth. It's very hot. Just check that they are cooked by placing a knife in the centre and just making sure that it's not too gooey in residue on the actual knife. But would you like a trick or two? Would you like to maybe turn these into maybe a decadent pudding? I know there's a few people who are on healthy eating plans and weight loss plans, but they still love something that feels a bit more like a sweet. Well, you can. There's a little tweak, and here is the first tip that I'm going to show you. So the first tip is with this one. I'm just going to make a slightly larger slit in the top whilst it's still warm. So yeah, you've got to watch your fingers. And then I'm going to add and push in a few chocolate chips, if you can see there. Not many, because obviously if you are on a weight loss plan, that's the last thing you want. But 4 or 5 chocolate chips really is probably 1 square equivalent of chocolate. Look at the goo on that. Oh. You could even, let's add a little bit more, some chopped nuts. Again, not too bad, still fairly healthy. In the morning, I just love my Greek yogurt, honey and fruits. But why not add one of those wonderful chocolate baked oat muffins as well? That really does actually hit the sweet spot in a good way. It's never going to rival a chocolate cake though. But, as I said, if you are looking for something to hit that sweet spot, and also, if you're looking something for healthy for breakfast, well, you can't go wrong, really, with some chocolate baked oats and Greek yogurt and fruit.
The full written recipe is on my website, cookingwithemily.co.uk.